Welcome back to HyzerMedia's coverage of the 21st annual Crush on the Concho presented by Lone Star Disc. Thank you to our presenting sponsors for this tournament, Cosmic Disc Golf, D-Town Disc Golf, and Reaper Disc Supply. I'm Nathan Johnson, and for this final 9 holes, I am joined by Dave Oster.
And here we go. The conclusions of this tournament. Low Putt Disc Golf, thank you very much for supporting us, running this tournament, and doing a great job at that. Hole 10, the big par 5, 949 feet. Pretty much getting as much distance as you can off the first. OB road, very far right if you do wind up over there. Pretty much not too much in play. A couple of trees to contend with. Is potential to get all the way up there for a long eagle bid. But definitely, if you play it safe, a birdie will be not too much of an issue.
Yeah, this hole's pretty much a must-get birdie for these guys at only 949. The danger only really comes into play if you try to bite off more than you can chew on that tee shot or maybe the second shot. Because like you said, it is eagleable if you want to go for it and you have that power. But if you just decide to go for a nice controlled turnover distance line like Nikko and Nick have gone for, that isn't too much of a problem. Jake, he's going roller. He's trying to bite off a bunch here. Let's see where it lands. Just barely misses that tree. Oh my goodness.
This is big.
Wow, it stays on cut the entire time. That's got to be at least 600 feet. What a shot from Jake. Incredible. Fish just a little overturned there, catches that tree. Still a good amount of distance. That's still very birdieable from there, but not as much as I'm sure he would have liked. Nikko, he's trying to go over this tree with a big max distance flex line, and he gets through clean. That's a great shot. Very much in birdie range. Here's Fish. He's got a pretty big gap, but he does not want to hit at all. Going over top of everything. Carries way to the right, but comes back at the end. Well in bounds. That's a nice shot from him as well. And Nick was kind of flirting with this left side out of bounds, but he was able to stay in and throws a very nice second shot as well. So we got 3 guys playing this very well in birdie position, and Jake way up the fairway. Got a chance at the eagle, but this looks a little high. Yeah, it just comes up short right. Didn't quite give that enough juice. Still going to be a very easy
coming off
birdie.
The river.
Yeah. Just kind of carried it. Nice shot there from Nick. I mean, at this point, these guys are less than 300 into the basket. Should be, obviously, yes, left-right wind, like you said, makes this a little tricky, but if you're throwing a backhand hyzer, you can kind of just throw a nice simple hyzer, dig it into the ground. Just like these guys are showing you, textbook. This is still an eagle bid, though, from 60. Ooh, he gave it the height. Really good effort. Just a little off, though, as Nick. There's that wind. Makes those 15-footers. Oh, no. That's tough. Tough to see. After 2 really good shots, just coming up a little short. Nice birdie from Nikko, nice birdie from Fish, but definitely leaving something to be desired there for the other 2. But again, like we saw in the front 9, it is much windier today than it was the previous 2 days of this tournament, and it's making an impact, you know. Every putt, you got to take your time, you got to execute, and you got to trust your stroke.
Absolutely. Of course, certainly showing its teeth as we move over to hole 11, par 4, 711 feet. Thanks to Big Country Beef Jerky for sponsoring this hole. Pretty much straight shot. The only thing to worry about is a couple trees on the right and out of bounds as you get up to the green. This road on the left side. Getting as much distance as you're comfortable with to give yourself an easy second shot for your approach. And should be another fairly easy birdie in normal conditions, but we're throwing into kind of a cross headwind now, so like I said, the teeth is showing.
Yeah, I would say the previous couple holes coming in the same direction, opposite of what we're going now, was definitely a more favorable wind with kind of a tail cross. This being a tricky head right to left wind is super hard to throw a distance line into, because if you do what Fish's drive did here and you don't quite, I mean, it still ended up in a great spot as the fairway is pretty large, but if you don't quite commit to getting it on the right angle, your disc can kind of carry way left or get batted down to the right. So angle control very important on a shot in a wind like this. So far, guys have done pretty well, and Jake, he absolutely rips. So I would expect nothing less. Kind of overturned there, honestly, but again, plenty of enough distance to where he should still be able to get a putt as long as he executes this upshot as he's going with the forehand. And that's well done.
Yeah, pretty much perfect. Couldn't get too much closer to the basket than that.
Yeah, I like the forehand here for the approach, especially with this right to left wind. It kind of knocks the disc down, whereas the backhand hyzer can kind of get lifted and carried towards the out of bounds road. So Nikko, he agrees with me. So he's probably going with something nice and stable. Going for the skipper, and that's very well done. Fish trying to give it a little extra width, knowing that the wind's going to carry it. It's well done as well. Gives himself a tailwind putt for his birdie. Nick just a little off. It's a tough headwind putt there. He definitely would rather leave it on the right side of the basket like Fish did. A little less stressful. Or, I mean, put it where Nikko and Jake did and give yourself a tap in, but can't have those every time.
And hole 12, par 3, 322 feet. This is the layup or go for it hole. Short of this guardrail is safe, but then after that it is out of bounds, except in the case of being inside the teardrop shaped green marked by the flags here. So the players are going to have a decision to make. If they don't make it, they'll be going to a drop zone.
Yeah, this hole was already tough in the calm. Now this wind just makes it even tougher. Nikko, you know he's throwing something beefy here, though, and that is a absolutely great shot in this wind. Fish going with a backhand route I did not know was there, but looks like he lands safe, so that's well done. This is more the traditional play you'll see most players take. Just kind of a nice wide stock forehand, 322 feet. Maybe you get a little ground play, skip it onto that island. Well done by Jake. Nick's trying to match that line. He's going to need a big skip, and he gets it. That's a nice shot from him as well. So all players with birdie putts. Looks like maybe a little lull in the wind here, and they're taking advantage.
Yeah, especially this green, you can kind of see it sits down below the rest of the landscape. So the green for sure is out of the wind, but surprising to see compared to the first round. Higher wind conditions, but a lot higher rate of success for our card getting onto the green.
Yeah, maybe that little bit of wind was just what these players needed to kind of focus in and execute like they needed. And that is a star frame, surprisingly. Very well done.
Yeah, not the hole you think it would come on, but nonetheless, great job by these players. Over to hole 13, par 3, 289 feet. The way the drone's flying is a straight shot. You could go forehand. Skipper is the more common play. Wind kind of coming almost tail right to left now. Maybe more straight right to left, depending on how far up this curve you get. And Nikko doing just that, taking a nice wide forehand, hoping to get the skip back.
Yeah, it doesn't quite get as much ground play as he would have liked, maybe due to that wind you were talking about, not letting the disc quite get back to its hyzer angle. But still a good shot. He'll still have a putt. Fish kind of follows that Nikko line, leaves it a little wide, but still well done. Jake, that one came out a little high. He just caught some of those low-hanging branches, just kind of grabbed his disc. You really need to keep it low on this hole. Trust the ground play to get that skip back to the right, just like Nick did there. That was really well executed. Tough to commit to a putt like that. You know, Jake's trying to kind of go for that. Ooh, is Nikko with a ripping crosswind putt just lifts his putt over the basket. Fishy's got that same wind. Oh no. That's a pretty
A
brutal spit
lot
out.
of
High
chains.
middle. Yeah, that's I mean, again, with this much wind, you see that often where the wind just kind of blows it out of the chains, but still never good to see. Good cleanup from Jake. Again, like we said, even these 15 footers are still can be stressful in this wind, but these guys are pros. They know what they're doing. Only birdie on the group goes to Nick. Really well done.
That's right. And as we start heading back towards the beginning of the course, we're turning a corner, getting back into a tailwind par 4, 609 feet, OB road all along the left side. Want to get around this corner, past the trees to get yourself a nice open approach shot. And throwing into this hill, short surface road behind it is not out of bounds, but the left side main road is. So trying to keep it away from that. And Nick with an errant first shot off the tee.
Yeah, fortunate to come back down in bounds is that's really the only thing you can't do. A lot of airspace over here to the left. Tricky to commit to with this kind of, I'm sure, some sort of head right to left wind as we're still kind of going in that same direction, which is why you see Fish go with this wide hyzer. He knows the wind's going to get up under it, carry it over to the left. An option that maybe wasn't there the previous day is now very viable. Jake just doesn't quite turn it, and that's going to be OB on that road. I said the one mistake you can't make, but that is a pretty bad error, as the only OB is here on the left side.
And I think he was trying to go for the green. 609 feet is kind of the measurement going around, but if you try to cut that corner, it's probably reachable, and I think he was going for it, but going out of bounds early, he has almost at full distance and gets right next to the basket.
Wow.
From
yeah, I mean, you can
back.
definitely see he's got the distance from that shot. It just absolutely parked. So maybe not a terrible decision to go for it when you can save the par from that far back. So, but Nikko, yeah, really well, nice shot there. Very under control the whole way. Fish, he's playing this hole the same way. Maybe taking a little sneakier route up to the basket, but that's absolutely parked. So, well done from him. Fortunate skip there, maybe from Nick, a little straighter skip. Nice tailwind putt there for Nikko. Should be some pretty easy cleanups here. These players both, yeah, wow, what a shot. What a recovery shot there from Jake after the early out of bounds to get up and down from there is nice to keep the momentum going on his round.
Yeah, and when he did find his disc out of bounds, it was pretty far left, but just about pin high. So you saw he was definitely going for it. Let's move to hole 15, par 3, 352 feet. Definitely a forehand line, couple different options, kind of a straight forehand or the big wide over the out of bounds road left, bringing you onto the green. Still pretty close to that out of bounds, so the distance control and accuracy are definitely the keys here. And again, the wind playing a factor into how you get that.
Yeah, we're kind of approaching this stretch of multiple similarly shaped holes here, where you can kind of throw the same shot 3 times in a row if you would like. Of course, there is multiple options, as with a lot of holes on this course. So you'll see Fish, he's going for the backhand. A little bit of finish, that should be a putt. Here's this forehand, though. This is definitely the biggest gap on the hole. Just take it nice and wide over the road a little bit. Ooh, little jumpy skip there. Should be a birdie putt. Jake with a nice shot as well. Maybe a little inside, but still just fine. Leaves him around circle's edge, maybe just outside. hits the top of the basket, and unfortunately that road is out of bounds, so that is going to cost him multiple strokes as Fish. Out of bounds does not bother him. He's able to connect to get his birdie. Nicely done from Nick as well, connecting on his short birdie putt. Nikko literally under the basket for his birdie. Jake's going to have to try to clean up a par here now after that errant putt. Nicely done. Bogey, I should say.
And like you said, it's very similar shaped holes back here. Hole 16, par 3, 355. Again, the forehand line is going to work. There's a backhand. And they're also, like we said, low trees. So with a kind of a tail right to left, up and over is another play that these players will be looking like taking advantage of.
Yep, we saw a bunch of players go for this kind of line in round one, and you got to give it. It's tough to trust the width here, right? With this kind of crosswind, it's going to push your disc, but you're not exactly sure by how much. Fish, he doesn't like either option. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go high. Just kind of throws it right into the branches there. I'm sure that was a bit of a misfire, but luckily comes down in bounds. There's that same shot I was talking about as the previous hole, just that low skipping forehand. It'll work just fine. Jake, he's got plenty of power to go up and over here. Looks like the width was pretty good. And yeah, inside like Nikko said, inside the circle. Fish, that was definitely an errant. 2 errant shots in a row. Quite surprising. Just leaves that upshot a ways wide, giving himself a long par putt, but he is able to connect. Really well done there.
You're probably expecting that right to left wind to push it towards the basket. Kind of got a dud skip there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as I was going to say that all you need is one good shot per hole, and usually you can figure something out. So he was able to do that. Really nice putt from Nikko there, trusting the late drop on the disc to find the chains. And Jake's spike hyzer over the top ended up as the closest of the bunch.
Yeah, like you said, hard to trust because it could potentially go to that out of bounds, and he just narrowly stayed in. So good control from him, judging the wind correctly.
Yeah, and a nice birdie.
So we move over to hole 17, par 3, 369. This one is definitely the most likely to have the forehand skip shot. The road is out of bounds, but certainly going to be in play for their landing zones to try to hit and get back inbounds. There's also a little bit of a crossing path that can kind of add a little undulation to the ground, give players a little bit of a weird ground play if they hit it.
Yep, Nikko, he's going for the road skip, I think, but actually comes up quite a bit short, and maybe that was a good thing because definitely keeps his disc close to the basket. Nick, his disc finds edge, takes that big jumping flare. Luckily, also stays close. Little low from Jake, but it's an overstable enough disc that it comes all the way back to edge, and he'll have a birdie putt as well. Fish to try to make it 4 for 4. Yeah, nice shot as well. We got 4 birdie putts coming up. Just a little right there from Jake. Good commitment, good height. Just didn't quite find the center of the chains. As Nick, he is able to find the center of the chains on that nice birdie putt. Both him and Nikko kind of battling, getting their scores in contention. Fish with a nice birdie as well. And yeah, Nikko looks like he's parked.
Must be exciting for Nick, like you said earlier, the runner-up of the tournament last year, having Nikko Locastro come. First time this tournament's an A tier. So bringing in these bigger names and battling them on the chase card, shot for shot, pretty much going into the last hole with just a one stroke behind.
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
And that last hole being hole 18, par 3, 377 feet. Probably one of the more technical lines on the course. A couple different options per usual. Straight, a little bit of backhand flex, or the forehand out of bounds road all the way left and does wrap around all the way around. So out of bounds within the circle on this hole, making the distance, of course, very critical.
Yeah, Nikko, he likes obviously that little bit of flex shot with the backhand down the right-hand side. We'll see where that ended up. Nick, he's going with his forehand for probably the 4th or 5th hole in a row. It's worked so far, and he has thrown a great one again. That is going to give him a short birdie putt as well. Really well done. This is what I was hoping to see more out of Fish this round. I was surprised with how many turnover shots he was trying to throw. That's just a great solid forehand, right? Flat to finish. That's really all you need for a lot of these holes. So really nice shot from Fish. Jake, he likes the wide skipping hyzer, and he gets the skip. Yeah, nice shot. 4 great shots here to finish out. Looks like Nikko's came up a bit short, so he's just going to have to lay up there, take his par, and end his day at 27 under. Fish just comes up a bit short after going long off the tee. And Jake just a bit off as well. Just couldn't quite put it together on the putting green today for Jake. Threw the disc quite well. And Nick with a really solid finish gets him to 27 to tie with Nikko. We'll see in a second where that puts him on the leaderboard, but very consistent, very solid round for him. Nikko with 2 great rounds, honestly, after a slow start to get himself back up into contention. And Fish, I'm sure not the tournament he wanted, but still a very solid effort. Pretty consistent play throughout. As we'll take a look at the leaderboards, Joel Freeman, 36 under par, taking the tournament down, as we see a 4-way tie for 3rd place with a couple of members of our chase card. Thank you to the Norse gods for being a supporting sponsor, as well as the rest of our Patreon family for supporting this coverage. We've got much more coverage coming the rest of the year, plenty of A tiers throughout the country, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of it. For Dave Oster, I've been Nathan Johnson. Thanks for watching.